Thank you very much. The next speaker who's put in a card is David Gevorkyan, who is here on behalf of the ANCA Pasadena Chapter. David, now, am I correct in understanding you also have a PowerPoint that you wanted to present to the task
Yes,
force?
sir.
And
I wanted to make my speech a little more visually appealing.
And visual appealing is very good when we're talking about maps, so that is helpful. Thank you, David. Now, this is not going to be a 20-minute presentation, correct?
There are 47 slides, but no. It's there.
I'm glad I asked.
I turned it into a video sequence.
The
slides are for just transition. So I'm going to be racing right through this. Yeah, push it.
So you will be speaking to us for how long?
Hopefully 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, David. We won't hold you strictly to that, but thank you for paying attention to that issue.
Well, it's good to see everybody again. My name is David Gevorkyan on behalf of the ANCA Pasadena Chapter, in support of the proposed sample plan map with recommendations for a few modifications. I'm sure everybody can see this on your screens as well, correct? So the recommendations that the ANC is making is to add an extension of District 2 into District 4 in the southeast, exclude the extension of District 2 into District 4, and exclude the extension of District 2 into District 4 in the northeast. And I'll show you visually what the recommendations are meant. Or how it's supposed to look on the map. So this is a map of Pasadena, and we recommend that we take away the northeast extension of District 2 into District 4 and put it back into District 4, and to extend District 2 into District 4 right down there in the middle east part of District 2, and take away that small block right along north of Colorado Boulevard. So in essence, at the end, the map would visually just look like this.
David, these changes that you are showing us are the changes to the proposed map?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is what the final map would look like, and these would be just what we would take out and what we would include in.
Okay.
Now, the reason for one of the arguments that would like to have the task force take into consideration is the impact on neighborhood associations. When neighborhood associations are initially formed, they take their boundaries and their neighborhood and their representatives and their constituents and everyone living in that region into consideration when they draw out their boundaries and their borders. Basically, now what happens in the northern part of District 2, it almost seems as if we are actually imposing a change in the neighborhood association's presence in that region. Neighborhood associations that might be impacted are Daisy Villa, Victory Rose, Marion Avenue, Neighbors, Brigden Ranch, East Orange Grove, and Victory Neighborhood Association. Primarily, the one main association that gets impacted the most is Victory Neighborhood Association, which falls into that little red area that you see there is the extension of District 2 into District 4. So that is actually a significant portion of that neighborhood association's boundaries that now will be taken away into District 2, and they would have to reevaluate their relationships with those residents that will now be voting in District 2 or residents that will no longer be voting in District 4 and their boundaries and so forth. So our proposed recommended changes would actually help keep the integrity of the boundaries of the neighborhood associations, and none of the neighborhood associations would be affected by this, by taking that northeast extension out, and it would protect the borders and the boundaries of all of the neighborhood associations, especially when that extension comes all the way to Altadena and down below into Sierra Madre. It borders two neighborhood associations and doesn't encroach upon their boundaries. There are two neighborhood associations that small portions of them do fall into a second district. But that has been done by choice to begin with. Those residents chose to draw their boundaries like that, and they have been working with those relationships and with those residents both in 2 and 4. but at the same time, only a small portion falls into a second district. Whereas with the original plan map that the task force is endorsing, actually takes away a significant part of the Victory Neighborhood Association. So ultimately, this is what the map would look like, the final map that we are proposing. And statistically, it allows a less than a 0.3% deviation, whether it's negative or positive, which falls into the scope of kind of like the margin that we would, as a city, would like to be in. So there's very minimal changes. The two main districts that have the highest changes are Districts 4 and District 6. And if we look at it in order of the population, District 6 has a negative 0.18, and District 4 has a positive 0.26. So they're both within the margin that we would like to see the city in, with minimal changes and the smallest percentage of deviation. So this is our final map, and this is what it is now, and this is what we are suggesting. If you move your attention towards the northeast, the north part of District 2, and then the lower part of District 2, this is basically what it looks like. Just taking that top portion away and adding it at the bottom. And our final map would look like this. And that concludes my presentation. I hope everybody had a wonderful time.
Thank you, and that was actually a very nicely done presentation. The motion graphics are helpful. Does anybody have any questions for the speaker, or we move to the next?
No questions?
Undoubtedly, later on during the discussion, questions will emerge, but thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you.